So, Khloe, when are you planning on telling Leo the truth? Don't tell me you've started to believe your own act. The familiar voice drifted out of the private room as I walked past with a tray of drinks. I froze. Through the crack in the door, I could see her, Khloe Lynn, my wife, draped in a designer V-neck gown, a glass of red wine held delicately in her hand. Beside her was Sean Shun, the one that got away, along with a few of their old friends, the crowd she used to run with. 3 months ago, when Lynn Holdings supposedly went bankrupt, Khloe told me they weren't part of her world anymore. She said she was done with them. But here they were, laughing and drinking together, the easy familiarity between them unchanged. My hand tightened on the tray, a cold dread coiling in my stomach. My feet felt nailed to the floor. The truth? What truth? A short silence fell over the room before Khloe's voice, dripping with contempt, cut through the air. A few more days. I'm getting sick of the performance. I can't believe I told him we were broke, and he still won't divorce me. He's like gum on my shoe. It's disgusting. Laughter erupted from the room, and my heart plummeted. Lynn Holdings going bankrupt. It was a lie. I heard Leo's been working 3 jobs to help you pay off your debt. Can you imagine the look on his face if he found out the bankruptcy was fake? That you just wanted him to file for divorce so you wouldn't have to? Oh my God, priceless. He doesn't know, right? How could he know you supposedly owe billions and still stick around? Please, another voice scoffed. He's probably holding out for Khloe to make some big comeback. All this hard work is just an act. I give him 3 months tops. He'll crack any day now. They started placing bets on how long I would last. I didn't stick around to hear the rest. After numbly delivering the drinks, I found my manager and quit. He wasn't happy. It was only my 3rd day. This was my 4th part-time job, one I hadn't told Khloe about. When I was just working 3, she'd cry about how hard I was pushing myself, telling me I didn't have to do it, that she'd work hard to pay off the debt too. I kept the 4th job a secret because I didn't want her to worry. Good thing I did. Otherwise, I would never have learned the truth. I would never have known she despised me this much, enough to orchestrate an entire corporate collapse just to force my hand. I pictured her face when I'd come home, carefully dropping my cash earnings into a pickle jar on the counter. She must have been laughing at what a fool I was. And I was a fool. I believed her company was gone. I believed I could work hard enough to help her get it all back. I actually fantasized about spending the rest of my life with her. I left the club and went straight back to the tiny studio apartment we'd been renting. After she told me she was broke, I used the last few thousand I had in cash to secure the place in Queens. Khloe and I were the classic childhood sweethearts. Our parents were best friends, our houses next door to each other. From kindergarten through high school, we were in the same class. At family dinners, our parents would joke that we were practically engaged from birth. From a young age, I just assumed I would marry Khloe Lynn. And she was always good to me, at least before Sean Shin came along. The first time I got in a fight, it was for her. The first time I skipped school, it was for her. The first time I talked back to my parents, it was for her. Back then, her eyes lit up when she looked at me. I'd tell her it was because I was going to be her husband, and anyone who messed with her was messing with me. She'd blush and tell me to shut up, that she'd never marry me. Her SAT scores weren't what she'd hoped, so we ended up at different colleges. The day I dropped her at the airport, she hugged me and warned me not to even look at another girl. She said we'd get married right after graduation. I kept my promise. I turned down every girl who showed interest. But in college, she fell in love with Sean. We became parallel lines, never to intersect again. I figured we'd become those strangers with shared memories, nodding politely if we ever passed on the street. But in my senior year, a car crash took my parents. I was thrown into the deep end, forced to learn how to run Vance Industries while dealing with their deaths and a board of directors that smelled blood in the water. I was falling apart. Mr. Lynn, her grandfather, asked Khloe to come home to be with me. He wanted us to get married. With Lynn Holdings backing me, the vultures on my board would have to back off. At first, Khloe refused. I knew she had someone else and didn't want to trap her. But then, something happened between her and Sean. They broke up. She started drinking hard. Every night she came home, Mr. Lynn would tear into her before locking her in her room. It would work for a few days, then she'd be back at the bar. One night, the bartender called me to pick her up. After that, it became a routine. Then came the night she was completely wasted. She looked at me, her eyes unfocused, and called me Sean. My uncle had been at my house earlier, trying to squeeze money out of me, and I was in a dark place. I'd had a few drinks myself. I lost control. Not long after, Mr. Lynn found out. He forced us to go to City Hall. Khloe, in a what-the-hell moment, just agreed. And I thought, maybe, since Sean was out of the picture, I could make this work. I would spend the rest of my life making her happy, making sure she never felt that pain again. After we were married, she was good to me, but I'd seen how she was with Sean. That all-consuming fire. With me, it was more like a sense of duty. I don't know when I got back in touch. I just never imagined she would go to these lengths to push me away. To fill the imaginary hole in her finances, I'd even sold my parents' company, Vance Industries, and given her every last cent. And this was my reward. Betrayal. All she had to do was ask. I wouldn't have clung to her. I loved her, but not enough to throw away my pride and beg. It was after midnight when Khloe got home. She'd changed back into jeans and t-shirt I'd bought her for $40 at street market. She used to live in couture. Seeing bargain bin clothes on her was a joke. I guess these last 3 months of playing poor really were a hardship for her. She seemed surprised to see me awake. "You're still up? Waiting for me?" "I just got off my shift. I brought back some takeout. Want some?" I watched her, my face a mask, searching her eyes for a flicker of guilt. There was nothing. Just calm. I wanted to ask her if it was fun, this 3-month lie. But what was the point? She opened the styrofoam container, the smell of pad thai filling our cramped apartment. She expertly snapped a pair of disposable chopsticks and handed them to me. I stared at her hands, those perfectly manicured fingers, and blinked back, the bitter taste rising in my throat. "Khloe," I said, my voice flat, "let's get a divorce." Clatter. The chopsticks fell from her hand onto the floor. The smile on her face froze. I didn't understand why she looked so shocked, so completely lost. She despised me. A divorce should have been a relief. Who was this performance for? "Is it because my family's broke?" she asked, her voice trembling. "You don't want to live like this with me?" Seeing the hurt in her eyes, I almost laughed. Instead, my own eyes burned. She was the one who faked a catastrophe to make me leave, and now she was flipping the script, making me the bad guy for being tired of being poor. "Khloe," I said, my voice dangerously low, "don't you think you're disgusting right now?" I never thought the girl who once held my hand and promised we'd be together forever could become this person. It was fine that she loved Sean. It was fine that she wanted to divorce me to be with him. But she shouldn't have used such a vile, manipulative scheme to make me the one to end it, just so she could walk away guilt-free. Her eyes widened. She grabbed my hand, her expression turning to fury. "Leo, when I lost everything, you were the one who said you'd stay with me no matter how hard it got. It's been 3 months, and now you're showing your true colors? And you're calling me disgusting." I yanked my hand away and took a step back. "I said that," I said, my voice cold as ice. "But the truth is, we didn't lose anything. You pretended to be broke to force me into being the villain, to make me file for divorce so you could absolve yourself of any guilt. Am I wrong? Doesn't a person who would plot against me like that disgust you?" Khloe's face fell. Her mouth opened as if to argue, but then she just fell silent. Her face. I used to look at it and feel my heart skip a beat. Now I couldn't stand the sight of it. "I want you out tonight," I said. "City Hall. 9 a.m. I don't want a dime of your family's money. All I want is what my parents left me. I want Vance Industries back. I'm guessing you were the one who bought it when I sold it, weren't you?" She didn't answer. My patience was gone. I pulled out my phone and called Sean to come get his girlfriend, telling him to bring change of clothes. Sean was a smart guy. He knew that a call from me meant the gig was up. He was there in less than 30 minutes. Seeing him standing there, decked out in designer labels from head to toe, holding a Louis Vuitton garment bag, made the last 3 months of my life feel like a cruel joke. A wave of revulsion for Khloe washed over me. She treated him so well. Without her money, there's no way he could afford that outfit, not even if he worked 10 jobs a day. I looked at Khloe, trying to keep my voice from shaking. "The clothes you're wearing are mine. Change and get out." With that, I walked out of the apartment. Sean followed me a moment later. "Khloe, she just didn't know how to tell you," he started, his voice placating. "So she came up with this idea, hoping you'd be the one to end it. We never meant to hurt you." I turned and looked at him. My eyes drifted to his hands, smooth, perfect, not a callus in sight. I laughed, a bitter, mocking sound, and held my own hands out for him to see, the palms covered in blisters and hardened skin. I really wanted to know how he could say those words with a straight face. "This doesn't look like you didn't want to hurt me, does it?" For 3 months, I'd been sleeping 4 hours a night. When I wasn't sleeping, I was either at a job or on my way to one. To save the $2.75 for the bus, I walked the 3 miles between my 2 evening gigs every single day. At first, my feet were covered in blisters. I'd pop them, grit my teeth through the pain, and keep going. After 2 weeks, the skin finally hardened. Now, all that sacrifice was a punchline. The whole time, Khloe and Sean were watching from the sidelines, laughing, betting on when I'd finally break. I never thought the love I had for her would become the weapon she used to destroy me. Sean bit his lip and looked down. "Mr. Vance, I'm sorry, but Khloe and we're in love." I couldn't hold back my fury any longer. "In love," I said, my voice dripping with ice. Do you think slapping a label like true love on the disgusting things you've done makes it noble? If you had the guts to just admit you were being manipulative assholes, I might actually have a sliver of respect for you. Sean frowned, about to argue, but his eyes darted to something behind me. Khloe. His tone shifted, becoming laced with a sort of weary frustration. He's misunderstood us. Tell him we never meant to hurt him. Khloe emerged, now wearing a stunning designer dress that clung to her curves. She was breathtaking, a world away from the woman in the cheap t-shirt and jeans. This was how she was supposed to look, and yet she was a complete stranger to me. She walked right up to Sean, blocking my view of him. This was my decision, she said, her voice firm. It has nothing to do with Sean. If you're going to blame someone, blame me. Watching her shield him, so afraid I might do something, felt like a wire tightening around my heart, pulling until it bled. See, when it came to people she cared about, she wouldn't let anyone lay a finger on them. And me? I was long since cast out of that circle. It was better this way. At least now, I wouldn't cling to any false hope, wouldn't be trapped in the beautiful memories of our past. I took a deep breath. Oh, I do blame you. As the words left my mouth, I raised my hand and slapped her across the face. The force of it sent a stinging vibration up my arm. A red handprint bloomed on her pale cheek. Khloe, Sean yelled, grabbing her protectively, his eyes shooting daggers at me. I rubbed my tingling hand, my expression blank. You lied to me for 3 months, I said to her. I gave you one slap. We're even. Leo, don't you think you've gone too far? No one has ever laid a hand on Khloe. I looked at him coolly. Then has anyone ever told you that no one gets away with screwing me over like this? Back when my parents were alive, I was practically untouchable. Everyone knew I had a short fuse, and they stayed out of my way. Their deaths had mellowed me over the years, but I wasn't a pushover. Sean scowled, about to say more, but Khloe stopped him. Under the dim streetlight, her expression was unreadable. Sean, don't. But it's my fault. I owed him that. After this, I don't owe him anything anymore. Let's go. Sean shot me one last resentful glare before following her. I went back to the apartment and spent the rest of the night purging every trace of her from the space, throwing anything that reminded me of her into a trash bag. It all felt tainted. By the time I was done, it was after 6 a.m., the sky turning a soft gray. I didn't bother sleeping. I just grabbed my ID, our marriage certificate, and went to wait outside City Hall. At 8 a.m., Khloe arrived. I didn't waste words. I just turned and walked inside. The divorce was quick. In addition to my parents' company, she gave me several $1 million and 2 luxury condos. I accepted, then turned around and donated the cash and properties to a foundation. At least some good could come of it. After we got the papers, I walked out of the building and was about to hail a cab when she called my name. I'm sorry about everything. She sounded sincere, her expression full of apology. Don't be, I said. When I slapped you last night, we became even. Her brow furrowed, as if she wanted to say more, but then her gaze dropped. I followed her eyes and saw the silver ring on my finger. She'd bought it for $52 at night market after I'd sold our wedding rings to pay off her fake debts. I told her it was a waste of money, but she insisted, telling me with a straight face that one day she would buy the real ones back. At that moment, I was so moved. I thought my years of devotion had finally won her back. I treasured that cheap ring, polishing it every night before bed. She must have been laughing so hard at me then. Thinking back, I really was pathetically stupid. I looked down, pulled the ring off my finger, and tossed it into a nearby trash can. Don't get the wrong idea. I just forgot to throw it out last night. Her lips parted, her expression unreadable. I frowned. She was acting so strangely. Now that she was divorced, shouldn't she be relieved? Shouldn't she be off celebrating with Sean? Why did she look like someone owed her $1 million? I ignored her and turned to flag down a taxi. Suddenly, a red Lamborghini screeched to a halt in front of me. The window rolled down to reveal Ava Zhao, a wide grin on her face. Leo Vance, congratulations on your escape from hell. If you're considering a second marriage, you know where to find me. Khloe's face darkened. Ava, there's a line, and you just crossed it. Ava Zhao had been in our class since elementary school. The 3 of us used to be good friends, but she and Khloe had a massive falling out in middle school and have been mortal enemies ever since. They were constantly at each other's throats in the business world, stealing clients, leaking negative press, a full-blown corporate war. I hadn't really talked to her in years. How did she even know Khloe and I were getting divorced? Before I could figure it out, Ava continued, Khloe, you know perfectly well I'm not joking. She hopped out of the car and walked right up to me. Leo, I know this is sudden, but if you want to marry me, we can go right back inside and get the paperwork done now. I blinked, then felt a wave of exasperation. Ava, I'm busy. I don't have time for these childish games. Who said I'm playing a game? She held out a folder. I'm serious. I've been in love with you since middle school. That hasn't changed. I frowned, highly skeptical. If she'd said she was doing this just to piss off Khloe, I might have believed her. But that she'd been in love with me since middle school? I hadn't seen a single sign of it. Khloe's composure snapped. She lunged forward and slapped Ava. Within seconds, they were a tangle of flailing limbs and angry shouts. I tried to break them up, but it was no use. I gave up and hailed a cab. It wasn't like they were going to kill each other. Besides, two women brawling in front of City Hall while I stood there like an idiot? It was just too embarrassing. Khloe was efficient. 2 days later, my company was back in my name, transferred via her lawyer. She didn't come herself, which was a relief. I didn't want to see her either. Taking back the reins of Vance Industries was all-consuming. My days were packed, more fulfilling than they'd been in years. Life would have been even better if Ava Zhao hadn't started stalking me. After the divorce, she made a habit of showing up at my office building, sometimes asking me out to dinner, other times using business collaboration as an excuse to very unsubtle express her interest in me. After 2 weeks of this, I couldn't take it anymore. The next time she appeared, I stopped her. Ava, we need to talk. She raised an eyebrow. Oh, about us getting together? I sighed. I looked her straight in the eye. You need to stop this. Even if you really did have a crush on me in middle school, we're adults now. I've changed. Have you ever thought that maybe you're not in love with me, but with the idea of me? Ava frowned. What idea? You're in love with the past. The guy was in middle school, but I'm not him anymore, you get it? She nodded. I get it. But I love the old you, and I love you right now. I'm sure of it. I want to spend my life with you, and only you. Her eyes were so sincere that my heart skipped a beat. It dawned on me that she was serious. But even the most genuine feelings can be worn down by time. Khloe used to look at me with that same expression, and in the end, she still fell for another man without a second thought. Even if you do like me, we can't. Ava cut me off. Leo, I know you're not over your last relationship yet. I'm willing to wait. And if you're afraid I'll deceive you like Khloe did, I'll transfer all my assets into your name. If I ever betray you, you can walk away with everything. Seeing that she was actually considering it, I quickly shut her down. No, don't do that. Let me be clear. I don't have feelings for you. Right now, the most important thing to me is running the company my parents left me. A relationship is the last thing on my mind. Ava nodded. I know. And like I said, I'll wait. I just hope that when you are ready, I can be your first choice. I looked into her eyes, so full of warmth and affection, and for a moment, I couldn't find the words to refuse. After a long silence, I just asked her to come by the office less often, explaining that it was starting to affect my work. She agreed, and true to her word, she stopped showing up every day. Instead, she started texting me, giving me a running commentary of her life. Today's meeting was so boring. Wish I was with you. Business trip. It's raining here in Austin. Thinking of you. I'll bring you back some real barbecue. Can't sleep because I'm thinking about you. Can you send me a picture? I might be up all night otherwise. The messages were endless. It took me all of 3 days to go from being weirded out to just ignoring them. I started to wonder if she'd been replaced by a body double. The Ava Zhao I remembered was a powerhouse who took over her family's enterprise at 23. The ruthless businesswoman I knew from the headlines didn't square with the lovesick girl blowing up my iMessage. But aside from the constant texts, she was also a huge help. As I got back into the swing of running my company, she steered me away from several bad deals. Gradually, the tension between us eased, and it started to feel like it did back in middle school, before her and Khloe's big falling out. Still, I had no intention of starting anything with her. I'd had my taste of love's bitterness. Once was enough. I saw Khloe again about a month later. Mister, Lynn had found out about our divorce. The shock sent him to the hospital, and she had no choice but to call me. As much as I didn't want to see her, Mister, Lynn had always been incredibly kind to me. I had to go. When I got to the hospital room, Khloe and Sean were both there. Sean looked downcast while Khloe comforted him. I knocked and Mister Lynn's voice told me to come in. He explained what happened. He'd bumped into Khloe and Sean while they were out shopping. Thinking she was having an affair, he'd publicly berated Sean for being a shameless homewrecker. To defend Sean, Khloe had blurted out that we were divorced. Mister Lynn was still agitated. I sat with him, calming him down until his breathing evened out. As I stood to leave, he looked at me, his eyes full of concern. Leo, your divorce. It really had nothing to do with that man. Looking into his kind eyes, a wave of self-pity washed over me. For a second, I wanted to tell him everything, but I couldn't. Mister Lynn had a weak heart, and Khloe was his favorite grandchild. The truth would devastate him, and his health couldn't take it. Besides, it was over between us. Why drag him through the mud again? I forced a smile. No, Mr. Lynn. She and Sean got together after we split. It was amicable. We just weren't in love anymore, and staying together would have only made us both miserable. I added, and there's someone new in my life now. When the time is right, I'll bring her to meet you. He studied my face for a long moment, then sighed. Fine, fine. I'm an old man. I can't meddle in you kids' lives anymore. I stepped out of the room. Khloe was waiting. Thank you, she said quietly. She must have heard everything. Don't thank me. I kept the truth from him because I don't want him to have another attack. It has nothing to do with you. She nodded, a strange emotion flickering in her eyes. I know. You're dating someone. I frowned. That's my private life. I don't see why I need to tell you. Sorry. Mr. Lynn seems stable now. I have work to do, so I'm leaving. I turned and walked away without looking back. After that day, Khloe and Sean went public with their relationship. There was no more hiding. I tried to ignore it, but they were constantly splashed across gossip sites and business journals, and even people in my office were talking about them. Sean liked a river view, so she dropped millions on a waterfront penthouse for him. Sean was a fan of some pop star, so on the star's birthday, she bought out every digital billboard in Times Square for a birthday message, just to make him smile. Sean had poor health, so she trekked through Patagonia and carved their initials into a rock at a summit, a prayer for his well-being. None of it surprised me. When she loved someone, she loved them with everything she had. Just like when we were young, and she ran through a thunderstorm to bring me my favorite chicken noodle soup when I was sick, gently coaxing me to take my medicine. She couldn't swim, but she'd gone scuba diving with me just to see the surreal, colorful world under the sea. She hated crowds, but she confessed her love to me in the middle of a packed concert. Young love is fierce and true, but it's also fleeting. Once it burns out, all that's left is ash, scattered by the slightest breeze. I discovered her car parked on my street on a rainy night. I'd been woken by a clap of thunder and went to shut the living room window. A flash of lightning illuminated the street below, and I saw it. The red Ferrari. I knew it was hers. I frowned, shut the window, and went back to bed. But then it happened again, and again. 3 or 4 nights a week, her car was parked down there. Once or twice could be a coincidence. This many times felt intentional. She had Sean now, free and clear. What the hell was she doing parked outside my building in the middle of the night? I took a picture of the car and sent it to a mutual friend, telling him to forward it to Sean. A little while later, the car was gone. For the next few weeks, I didn't see the Ferrari. I thought that was the end of it, until Sean showed up at my office. Leo, I probably shouldn't be here, he began, looking exhausted. But I thought about it, and I feel like I need to explain. Khloe has been coming to your place because she wants you to visit Mr. Lynn. But after everything that happened, she feels too guilty to ask you directly. So she just... I cut him off, a knot of dread in my stomach. What's wrong with Mr. Lynn? Sean sighed. His health has been getting worse. He was admitted to the hospital 2 weeks ago. The doctor said he probably has a month at most. I rushed to the hospital. Khloe was by Mr. Lynn's bedside, spoon-feeding him. He was so much thinner than the last time I'd seen him, his energy completely gone. My heart sank, and my vision blurred. After my parents died, Mr. Lynn was the closest thing I had to family. But after the divorce, to avoid Khloe, I barely visited. I didn't even know he was sick until someone else told me. My voice choked as I walked over to him. Mr. Lynn. Leo, you're here. Why are your eyes red? Did something happen? I shook my head, forcing back the tears. I didn't want to upset him. Mr. Lynn shot a glare at Khloe. Was it you? Did you do something to upset Leo again? Why else would he look so miserable? I expected Khloe to defend herself, but she just looked at me, her eyes filled with a complex mix of emotions. I took a deep breath to compose myself. No, Mr. Lynn, she didn't do anything. It's been a while. I missed you. I sat by his bed, looking at his frail frame, unable to suppress the grief welling inside me. Knowing he only had a month left, I was filled with regret for not visiting more often. After Mr. Lynn finished his meal and fell asleep, Khloe and I stepped out of the room. In a quiet hallway, I turned on her, my voice a low, cold whisper. Why didn't you tell me, Mr. Lynn was sick? Her expression was dark as she looked down. We're divorced. I didn't want to trouble you anymore. Do you have any idea how selfish that is? Mr. Lynn practically raised me too. My divorce is with you, not with him. I know how to separate the two. I wouldn't take my anger at you out on him. Khloe bit her lip, saying nothing. I took a breath, trying to calm down. I know you don't want to see me, and the feeling is mutual, but Mr. Lynn doesn't have much time left. I plan on coming every day to sit with him. I need you to coordinate your schedule with me. Even though I didn't love her anymore, I couldn't stand to watch her and Sean together and pretend it didn't bother me. I do not want to see you, she said, her words ambiguous and frustrating. Whatever, I snapped. Just make sure you and Sean aren't here when I come to visit. She fell silent for a moment before replying. Just text me before you come. I'll make sure we're gone. Fine. I unblocked her number. For the next month, the only communication between us was a perfunctory text from me before I headed to the hospital. One day, about a month later, I was pushing Mr. Lynn's wheelchair through the hospital garden when he spoke. Leo, I have something I want to tell you. I knelt in front of him, forcing a smile. What is it, Mr. Lynn? In all the time I'd been visiting, he'd never used such a grave tone. A kind smile touched his lips. Leo, I know I don't have much time left. Seeing you here every day this past month, it has made me very happy. Panic flared in my chest. I had tried so hard to act normal, but in that moment, an overwhelming wave of grief threatened to pull me under. Mr. Lynn, don't say that. You're going to get better. He shook his head, his expression serene. I know my own body. I've lived a long life, and I don't have many regrets. The only one I have is you. His eyes were full of pity. Even though you never said it, I know Khloe wronged you. That's why I could never accept that man. You and Khloe weren't meant to be, but I've always thought of you as my own grandson. I hope you find someone who will truly be good to you. Mr. Lynn, let me finish. He pulled a bank card from his pocket and pressed it into my hand. Take this. Think of it as a little wedding gift for my future granddaughter-in-law. I don't think I'll be around to see your wedding day. My vision blurred. I shook my head. Mr. Lynn, I can't. Nonsense, take it. It's a small gift from an old man. If you don't take it, you'll make me angry. He insisted, and finally, I accepted the card. A real smile spread across his face then, as if a great weight had been lifted. Even the deep wrinkles on his forehead seemed to smooth out. At 11:15 that night, Mr. Lynn passed away peacefully in his sleep. In that moment, I knew the last person in the world who felt like family was gone. I should have been devastated, but I felt numb, as if all my emotions had been switched off. I just stood there, a spectator to my own life. At the funeral, Ava came with me. In the portrait, Mr. Lynn was smiling, the same warm, kind smile he always had when I came over to the house looking for Khloe. But I knew those days were gone forever. Khloe was dressed in black, her face gaunt and pale, with dark circles under her eyes. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Sean stood beside her, his hand ready to steady her if she stumbled. After the funeral, I fell into a dark place. For a month, I did nothing but work. I didn't want to do anything else. One day, Ava showed up at my apartment and pulled me off the couch, her face a mask of anger. Leo, Mr. Lynn is gone. That's a fact you can't change. How long are you going to wallow like this? He wouldn't want to see you this way. I gave a bitter smile. I know, but I just can't accept it. She gripped my shoulders, forcing me to look at her. No one can accept losing someone they love, but we have to. We have to keep moving forward. I pushed her away, not wanting to talk. I knew she was right. I understood all the logic, but I couldn't find the energy to do anything. Mr. Lynn had been so good to me, and because of Khloe, I'd pushed him away too. He must have been so hurt, but he never reached out, never asked Khloe to. And in his final moments, he still thought to leave something for me. And what did I do? I had the time to be with him more, but I didn't. The more I thought about it, the more the grief crushed me, and tears streamed down my face. Ava pulled me into a hug, gently rubbing my back. It's okay, Leo. Let out. It takes a lifetime to come to terms with losing family, but you have to understand, no one can stay with you forever. I buried my face in her shoulder and sobbed. I knew they couldn't stay forever. What hurt was that every time, I only learned to cherish them after they were gone. And by then, it was always too late. I cried for a long time. The pent-up emotions finally found a release, and the suffocating weight on my chest began to lift. She stayed with me all afternoon, and as my mood stabilized, she finally relaxed. Feel better now that you've had a good cry. I shook my head. I'm still sad, but I know I have to move on. You're right. Mr. Lynn wouldn't want to see me like this. As long as you're willing to try, that's enough. Ava's eyes were full of warmth and encouragement. My face grew hot, and my heart started beating erratically. I quickly looked away, trying to think of something to say. Just then, my stomach let out a loud, mortifying growl. I wanted to die. Ava froze for a second, then a small smile played on her lips. Why don't you rest on the couch for a bit? I'll make you something to eat. Okay. She was fast. In less than half an hour, she had 2 dishes and a soup on the table. It smelled and looked incredible, nothing like the culinary disasters I had imagined. I washed my hands and sat down. I had no idea you were such a good cook. She served me a bowl of rice, smiling. Did you forget I studied abroad for 3 years in college? The food there was terrible. I had to learn to cook for myself. I racked my brain. I seemed to remember something about that. But back then, because of Khloe, we had already lost touch. By the time I'd heard the news, she'd already been gone for 6 months. Yeah, I remember now. After dinner, I stood up to stop her from clearing the plates. I've got it. You've already done so much for me today. I can't let you do the dishes, too. Ava smiled. If you feel bad about resting on the couch, you can make me a cup of coffee. I saw you have an espresso machine. I did have one, but I hadn't used it in ages. I nodded. Okay, let me just clean it out first. I'll do it. You go grind the beans. She insisted, so I went to get the coffee beans. As I ground them, the rich aroma filled the kitchen. I realized I want a cup too. By the time I had 2 cappuccinos ready, she was just placing the last bowl in the drying rack. She turned and saw me with the mugs. I could smell that from here, she said with a grin. I handed one to her, suddenly feeling shy. It's been a while since I made coffee. It might not be very good. She took a sip, and her expression immediately turned serious. My stomach dropped. Is it that bad? Here, let me just dump it out. I reached for a mug, but she pulled it away, her face dead serious. With skills like this, have you ever considered opening your own coffee shop? When I saw the mischievous glint in her eyes, I realized she'd been messing with me. You looked so disgusted. I thought it was terrible. I said, annoyed. I was just teasing you. You're ridiculous. I walked into the living room with my coffee, but I couldn't stop the smile from spreading across my face. I couldn't remember the last time I'd felt so relaxed with someone. It was a nice feeling. After we finished our coffee, it was already past 8. Ava stood up. It's getting late. I should head home. Okay. After that day, Ava and I grew closer over the next month. I thought my heart had closed off for good, but lately, I'd felt that dormant muscle begin to stir again. I saw Khloe again on my birthday. Ava had booked a table at a restaurant on the top floor of a skyscraper, a place with a panoramic view of the city. Our relationship had been warming up for a while now, both of us hovering on the edge of something more. I had a feeling tonight might be the night we finally crossed that line, so I'd taken extra care to dress up. Sure enough, after dinner, she told me to close my eyes. When I opened them again, she was standing in front of me, holding a beautifully wrapped box. Leo, I was going to wait a little longer to say this, but I can't. Will you give me a chance? Will you be my boyfriend? Her dark eyes were locked on mine, filled with an intensity that felt like 1,000 stars. I know you've been hurt, and you're afraid of getting hurt again. But I want you to know, it wasn't love that was wrong. It was the woman who didn't love you. I want to help you feel the beauty in the world again. I want you to be able to love again. And if you say no, that's okay too, she added softly. I'll keep staying by your side until you're ready to walk toward me. Her words moved me deeply. I had felt her care and appreciation for me over these past few months. Maybe I really should give myself another chance. I was about to nod when Khloe appeared out of nowhere and slapped Ava hard across the face. Before I could even react, the two of them were on the floor, scratching and pulling at each other. A few feet away, Sean stood frozen, his face a mask of shock. I rushed forward and pulled them apart, placing myself between them and shielding Ava from Khloe. Are you okay? Ava shook her head, wiping a smear of blood from the corner of her mouth. She glared at Khloe. Khloe, if you want to act crazy, go check yourself into a psychiatric hospital. And just so you know, I'm calling the cops. Khloe let out a cold laugh. You think I'm scared of you? Ava, I warned you. Stay away from Leo Vance. I scowled at Khloe. What right do you have to say that? We're divorced. We're strangers. Does it make you happy to see my life in ruins? Khloe stared at me, her face a picture of disbelief. Leo, I'm just trying to protect you. Do you have any idea that Ava slept with 12 different guys when she was in Europe? I took a deep breath. She could have slept with 100 guys, and it would still be none of your business. Besides, isn't the person who hurt me the most you? Her expression faltered. She opened her mouth to say something, but Sean stepped forward and tugged on her sleeve. Khloe. She looked at him, her face twisting, but she said nothing more. I was done with him. I took Ava to the emergency room. After the doctor patched her up, she looked at me seriously. Leo, I'm going to press charges and teach her a lesson. If you still have feelings for her. I cut her off. I have no feelings for her. Do whatever you think is right. Good. After she called the police, it wasn't long before Khloe and Sean were at the station. Khloe's face was bruised, and her expression was stormy as an officer led her away to take her statement. In the end, Khloe was ordered to pay Ava $500,000 in medical bills and damages. When she came out, her eyes found me and locked on a chilling, intense stare. Ava stepped in front of me, shielding me. Khloe, that's my boyfriend you're staring at. I'd appreciate it if you stopped. Boyfriend. Khloe's voice sounded like it had been dredged up from an icy river. Ava laughed lightly. That's right. On the way to the police station, He finally agreed to be with me. You got a problem with that? He could never love you. The certainty in her voice enraged me. I stepped out from behind Ava. Khloe, you're not me. How would you know? You can't love anyone but me. The reality is, I'm already in love with her. And I'm not pathetic enough to stay in love with someone who treated my feelings like garbage. With that, I took Ava's hand and walked away. After she dropped me home, Ava left. The next morning, I opened my door and nearly jumped out of my skin. A figure was standing in the hallway. When my eyes focused, I saw it was Khloe. I scowled. She was holding a cigarette, the smoke curling around her face, blurring her features. She reeked of defeat. Khloe, are you insane? Camping outside my door at the crack of dawn? Get out of here right now, or I'm calling the police. My cold tone seemed to wound her. She stubbed out her cigarette and took 2 steps toward me, then stopped when she saw my defensive posture. Leo, I'm sorry, she said, her voice raspy. I didn't know where else to go. Her bitter expression was almost comical. If I remember correctly, you and Sean are engaged. You're getting married soon. You got exactly what you wanted. What more could you possibly be unsatisfied with? Khloe gave a sad smile. I thought being with Sean would make me happy. But when I'm with him, all I can think about are the times we spent together. Stop. I cut her off sharply. So let me get this straight. When you were with me, you were thinking about Sean, and now that you're with Sean, you're thinking about me? She didn't love me. She didn't love Sean. She was just addicted to nostalgia. The thought that I had loved a woman like this for so many years made me physically ill. She was disgusting. Khloe looked at me, her eyes filled with regret. Leo, after Mr. Lynn passed away, I realized that you were the most important person in my life. Sean was just an infatuation. I was drawn to his passion and his wildness. And because of that, I lost you. I don't care if it was an infatuation or a damn hurricane. We are divorced. So please, take your self-serving emotions and get the hell out of my life. I don't want to see you again. I had wanted to spend my life with her, but she had disappointed me, destroyed me, time and time again. The pain was too much. I never wanted to feel that again. And besides, the moment I found out she faked a bankruptcy to get rid of me, my love for her turned to ash. She didn't move. Her lips trembled for a few seconds before she finally whispered, Leo, I've never told anyone this, but those few months we lived together in that tiny apartment, that was the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. Slap. I hit her. If she hadn't brought that up, I might have let it go. But her audacity was boundless. Did she have any idea what that time meant to me? You think that was the happiest time? Did you ever stop to think what it was like for me? Working 3 jobs a day, so broke I couldn't afford a bus ticket, walking for miles between shifts. That time was the darkest, most painful period of my life. Not because of the work, but because I gave you my whole heart, and you threw it on the ground and stomped on it. If I could, I would go back to the day we graduated high school, when you told me to wait for you. This time, I would say no without a second of hesitation. Pain and regret flashed in Khloe's eyes. She stared at me, her own eyes turning red. Leo, I'm sorry. I know I did so many things wrong. I know that now. Hit me again, do whatever you want. Just don't leave me. I'll do anything. Her remorse was something I once would have longed to see, but now it stirred nothing in me. I just didn't care anymore. The damage was done. The best I could do was let go and save myself. Khloe, I'm not leaving you. You left me first. I'm just done waiting for you. Leo, if you don't leave right now, I'm calling Sean. She gave a bitter laugh. The only person I care about right now is you. Just then, a sarcastic voice cut through the air from behind her. My boyfriend isn't your concern. And by the way, I have a recording of everything you just said. If this gets out, it's not going to be good for you or your company. Khloe's face turned pale as she spun around to face Ava. Ava Zhao, you don't deserve to be with Leo. Ava ignored her, walking right up to me and wrapping her arms around my waist. I don't deserve him? Who does? You, she sneered. Don't forget, you still have a fiancé. A woman like you, who always wants what she can't have. You deserve to be alone forever. I can break off the engagement with Sean. The person I love is Leo. Ava's face was a mask of derision, but her hands tightened around my waist. She was worried, I realized. Worried I still had feelings for Khloe. Well then, you should ask Leo if he still loves you. In an instant, both women were staring at me. I frowned, my gaze settling on Khloe. Her eyes were filled with a desperate, cautious hope. It was just like when I used to love her. But just like back then, her hope was about to be crushed. Khloe, I really don't love you anymore. Not even a little. Please stop interfering in my life. Khloe stumbled away, looking utterly lost. Ava let go of me, her expression serious. How could you just open the door for another woman like that? What if she had ulterior motives? What if she tried to accuse you of assaulting her? Seeing how angry she was, I quickly tried to explain. No, I didn't know she was out there. And besides, I'd known Khloe for so long. She wouldn't do something like that. From now on, check before you open the door. You know what? I'm installing a video doorbell for you. Ava was a woman of action. She mentioned the video doorbell in the morning, and by the time I got home from work that evening, it was already installed. So, your girlfriend gets things done, right? I nodded. She does. And this thing is great. You can see the whole hallway. Yeah, but I still don't think it's safe enough. Maybe I should just move in with you to protect you. Seeing the hopeful glint in her eye, I rolled my own. They can hear your ulterior motives on the moon, you know. Haha, just kidding. I'm planning on buying the apartment across the hall. That way, if you ever need anything, I'll be right there. Really? Yep. Just have to track down the owner. Once I do, it should be a done deal. After that, I started keeping an eye on the apartment across the hall. I even asked the building management, but they cited privacy concerns and refused to give me any information about the owner. 2 weeks later, I found out who owned the apartment. It was the last person I would have expected. Khloe. Learning that she had bought the place shortly after I moved in just annoyed me. Did she think this made her look devoted? Engaged to Sean, while simultaneously trying to screw with my head. Did she think I had no breaking point? I took a deep breath and had someone leak the news about the apartment to Sean. There was no way he would let that slide. Sure enough, it wasn't long before he came to see me. Leo, it's true that Khloe bought the apartment across from you, he said, trying to sound casual. But it doesn't mean anything. She bought it to be our marital home. We had no idea you lived here. I mean, who asks about the neighbors before they buy a place, right? I stared at him, saying nothing. He pressed on. Then her grandfather got sick, and she wanted you to visit him. So, she had someone find your address. That's when we realized you lived across the hall from our new place. After that, we just left it empty. If you don't believe me, I can take you over there. It's completely unrenovated. No thanks, I said flatly. I'm not interested. I just want to give you a friendly tip, Sean. Keep your fiancé on a tighter leash. A tense smile stretched across his face. Don't worry. We're doing great. Are you? Then maybe you should take a look at this. I slid a printout across the table, a screenshot from my video doorbell, showing Khloe standing outside my apartment all night. The color drained from Sean's face. Sean, I don't care what's going on between you and Khloe. I just want her to stop showing up at my front door. Otherwise, I'll have to call the police. He didn't say a word, his face as white as a sheet. I picked up my phone and left. Whatever drama unfolded between them was not my problem. Even though Khloe and I were divorced, we still ran in a lot of the same circles. So, avoiding her completely was impossible. A week after I showed Sean the video, Ava and I ran into both of them at a party hosted by a mutual friend. When Sean saw me, his smile froze, and his arm tightened possessively around Khloe's waist. I watched him, a bitter sense of irony washing over me. During my marriage to Khloe, that was exactly how I acted every time I saw him. Seeing Ava and me holding hands, our friends started teasing us. Look at you, Ava. Your secret high school crush actually panned out. You're one lucky girl. I'm so jealous. I confessed to my first love last year and found out she's on her second kid. Tragic. Huh. I remember when she told me she was in love with Leo. I told her to forget it. Back then, Leo only had eyes for Khloe. Who knew that after all these years, she'd actually get her man? The comment hung in the air, and the room went quiet. All eyes were on the four of us. Khloe and Sean both looked furious. Ava leaned against me and smiled. Yeah, well, I'm glad he gave me a chance. The tension broke, and everyone started laughing again. Soon, someone suggested a game of truth or dare. I wasn't interested, but everyone was playing, and I didn't want to be the lone weirdo in the corner. For the first few rounds, my luck held. Then, the bottle spun and landed on Khloe. Truth or dare? She was silent for a few seconds. Truth. All right, I won't hold back. Is there anyone in this room you can't forget? Khloe's eyes flickered in my direction. I gritted my teeth, fighting the urge to curse her out. Yes. And is that person Sean? That's a second question, she said coolly. The bottle spun again. This time, it landed squarely on me. So much for my luck. These people had a reputation for insane dares, and I had no desire to get on a table and start singing Journey. I chose truth. Do you still have feelings for your ex? I rolled my eyes internally. The question was clearly meant to start trouble. I have a new girlfriend. What do you think? Who in their right mind would pine for a toxic ex? Ava smiled. The person Leo loves now is me. Let's not ask such boring questions next time. Just as she finished speaking, there was a sharp gasp from the corner of the room. Khloe, your hand. Everyone turned to look. At some point, Khloe had crushed her wine glass. Shards were embedded in her palm. which was a mangled mess of blood and flesh. Blood dripped onto the floor. Sean tried to help, but she shoved him away. She seemed immune to the pain, her eyes fixed only on me. Leo, what you just said, you were lying, weren't you? Her eyes were filled with a desperate hope. I didn't know what she was hoping for. That after everything she'd put me through, I'd still be stupid enough to love her. I looked at her, my face a mask of indifference. Khloe, I chose truth. I have no reason to lie. If I still had feelings for her, I wouldn't be with Ava. That wouldn't be fair to Ava. Impossible! She shrieked, her sudden outburst startling everyone. Someone stood up to calm her down, but one cold glare from her sent them retreating. She got to her feet and started walking toward me, her eyes brimming with hurt and sorrow, as if she were the one who had been abandoned. Ava stepped in front of me. Khloe, Leo is my boyfriend. Your fiancé is over there. If you're going to have a meltdown, have it with him. Get out of my way. Seeing her raise her hand to Ava, I shot to my feet. Khloe, I snarled. When are you going to stop this insanity? She looked at me, her eyes red and raw. Leo, you're mine. We grew up together. You can only be with me. How could you fall in love with someone else? You fell in love with Sean, but I can't fall in love with someone else? Or in your world, am I just supposed to be your pathetic lapdog forever? Khloe shook her head frantically. No, that's not it. I love you too. If you come back to me, I'll break off my engagement with Sean. We could be together again, please? Her voice was pleading, but it stirred nothing in me. No matter what happens between you and Sean, I will never get back together with you. Because now, the sight of you just makes me sick. With that, I grabbed Ava's hand and walked out. I hadn't wanted to cause a public scene, but her shamelessness had pushed me too far. I didn't even recognize the person she had become. After that, if Khloe and Sean were going to be at a party, I declined the invitation. Eventually, our friends got the message and stopped inviting us to the same events. I thought we were finally done, that we would never have to see each other again. But then, she started going after Ava's company. I didn't know about it at first. It was only when Ava started working later and later nights that I got suspicious and did some digging. Khloe wasn't just competing with Zhao Corp. She was actively trying to destroy it, employing a scorched earth policy that was hurting her own company in the process. If this continued, they would both go down in flames. She had truly lost her mind. When Mr. Lynn was alive, she had some semblance of control. Now, she was like a rabid dog, attacking anyone who got in her way. I wanted to stay out of it, but watching Ava get worn down and hearing the rumors that her company was on the verge of collapse, I knew I had to do something. I decided to pay Khloe a visit. Stepping into her office for the first time in 6 months, I felt nothing but a calm emptiness. Seeing me, Khloe's face lit up. She immediately told her assistant to bring in my favorite fruit. Leo, sit down. What can I do for you? I sat on the sofa. I want you to stop going after Ava's company. This isn't good for either of you. The two companies, which once had numerous partnerships, were now mortal enemies. The smile on Khloe's face vanished. After a long moment, she said coldly, You came here for Ava? Yes. Come back to me, and I'll let her go. Khloe, if you continue this, your company will go bankrupt too. Mr. Lynn built Lynn Holdings from nothing. If he knew you destroyed it, he would never rest in peace. At the mention of her grandfather, her resolve seemed to waver for a second. I was about to press on when she looked up at me. Before Grandpa died, his greatest wish was for us to get back together. If it weren't for the bank card Mr. Lynn had given me, and the last words he'd said to me, I might have actually fallen for a lie. Khloe, even if you use your grandfather's dying wish to try and manipulate me, I will never get back together with you. Because I stopped loving you a long time ago. You don't love me? How could you not love me? You promised you would wait for me forever. Her voice grew agitated, and she stood up as if to come toward me. Don't come near me. I shot to my feet and backed away, trying to put distance between us. My retreat seemed to infuriate her. She lunged toward me. I bolted for the office door, my hand just grazing the handle when she grabbed me from behind. With her free hand, she slammed the lock shut. She was insane. My mind raced, cursing myself for walking into this trap. I had to find a way out. Khloe, calm down. Leo, just come back to me, and I'll let Ava go. Wouldn't that be better? I'll be good to you. I'll make up for everything I put you through 1,000 times over. Just let me go first, and we can talk about this. I can't breathe like this. No, if I let you go, you'll run. I know you will. I gritted my teeth, trying to keep my voice even. Khloe, I promise I won't run. Just let go. I have things I want to say to you, too. Really? Yes. Leo, you better not be lying to me. She released me, but her dark eyes were pinned on me, leaving no room for escape. I walked back to the sofa, my mind frantically searching for a way out. She seemed to read my thoughts. Don't even think about running, Leo. I won't let you leave. My original plan was to bankrupt Ava's company and then win you back. But since you delivered yourself to my doorstep, I'm not letting you go. Khloe, why won't you just let me go? If she had truly loved me, she never would have fallen for Sean in college. After we got married by a twist of fate, I thought I could win her back. But the moment he returned, she couldn't wait to get rid of me. Leo, we were always supposed to be together forever. It's not me who won't let go. It's you who tried to run away by falling for someone else. As she spoke, her expression turned dark and sinister. If I wasn't with Ava, if I just kept chasing you, you would despise me right now. You don't love me. You just can't stand the fact that the person who always followed you around suddenly walked away. Your ego can't handle it. That's not true. She knelt in front of me, and my whole body tensed. If she tried anything, I wouldn't go down without a fight. Leo, during those 3 months when I pretended to be broke, I finally understood how much you loved me. And I started falling in love with you, too. I just didn't realize it then. But now I know it's you I love. Just give me one chance, and we can start over. Her eyes were pleading, but the thought of waking up to her face every morning filled me with a deep, visceral revulsion. Yes, my feelings for her had transformed from love to disgust. Disgust so profound, I never wanted to see her face again. Couldn't we have just parted ways, amicably? Why did she have to inflict so much pain, only to turn around and play the part of the devoted lover? Did she really think life worked that way? What about Sean? What's your plan for him? Khloe's expression froze. It took her a moment to answer. It's my fault. I'll compensate him. Khloe, you are the most selfish, disgusting person I have ever met. She looked up at me, incredulous. Leo, why would you? I let out a cold laugh. The sight of you makes me sick. I could never be with you. I would rather die. Khloe stared at me, completely stunned, as if she'd been turned to stone. I shoved her aside and made a break for the door. I was just a few feet away when the door was suddenly thrown open from the outside. Ava stood there, her face like ice. I froze for a second before she yanked me behind her. Ava Zhao, if you don't want your company to go bankrupt, get out of my way right now. Khloe shrieked. Ava sneered. Khloe, you think you can threaten me? I've already secured new partnerships. You have no power over me anymore. Khloe's face contorted with rage, her eyes burning with cold fire. No matter what, I'm getting Leo back. Getting him back? What do you think he is? A piece of property. It's none of your business. He's my boyfriend. That makes it my business. Just as the two of them were about to physically attack each other, a trembling voice came from behind them. Khloe, you told me you were going to try and make this work. Why are Leo and Ava here? I turned to see Sean standing there, his face pale, his eyes filled with crushing disappointment. Sean, Khloe's expression was pained, but she offered no explanation. Since you can't let Leo go, I'll make it easy for you. I'm leaving. With that, he turned and walked quickly away. Khloe's face paled, and she immediately ran after him. Ava ignored me, her face still a thundercloud. She was furious. Don't be mad. I only came here to convince her to stop attacking your company. I couldn't stand seeing you working so hard. It was killing me. Ava took a deep breath. Are you an idiot? You knew she was obsessed with you, and you still came to see her alone? What if I hadn't gotten here in time? What would you have done? On my way to Lynn Holdings, I had sent Ava text. I texted you, didn't I? And I trusted you to protect me. If you ever pull a stunt like this again, you'll see what I do to you. Back in the car, I asked her if she had really found new partners. She nodded. Of course. You don't trust me? I do. As long as the company can get through this crisis, that's all that matters. The next morning, Sean found me. He looked like a wreck, disheveled, pale, a shadow of his former self. Leo, I lost. You win. I felt no sympathy for him, nor did I feel the need to gloat. I was never trying to win. I was just betting that she would forget you. I lost that bet. He gave a bitter smile. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm leaving her. She didn't even try to stop me. Just said she'd give me a generous settlement. My heart sank. I had a bad feeling about this. Seeing the look on my face, he sighed. You've probably figured it out. She's completely unhinged now. She'll do anything to be with you. You need to be careful. If she just didn't love me anymore, I would have stayed, he continued, his voice hollow. But she's willing to sacrifice Lynn Holdings to destroy Zhao Corp. If she loses, her entire company goes under. So much for their great love. Sean looked at me, his expression flat. You don't need to look at me like that. If she loved me, I'd be willing to go through hell with her. But she doesn't. Why should I stick around to be poor with her? After a moment, I understood. For Sean, taking the money and getting out was the smartest move. Thanks for telling me. I'll be careful. That afternoon, I moved into one of my other properties. It wasn't safe to stay there anymore. I couldn't shake the image of Khloe sneaking into my apartment while I slept. Seeing my anxiety, Ava held me and told me it would all be over soon, that she wouldn't let Khloe hurt me. Even though I had moved, I could still check the video feed from my old front door. And sure enough, Khloe came looking for me. She waited outside my apartment all night before finally leaving. I stopped going into the office, staying home for my own safety. 2 weeks later, Ava came over. She told me Lynn Holdings had officially filed for bankruptcy. Khloe wouldn't be bothering me anymore. A wave of relief washed over me. Khloe's reckless war against Zhao Corp, combined with a shareholder revolt over her erratic behavior, had caused the company's stock to plummet. In the end, the financial chain broke and the company collapsed. After hearing the news, I felt a flicker of something, but then another worry surfaced. She won't be able to make a comeback, will she? No, Ava said, her voice firm. An old business rival of hers sent some guys after her. Her legs were broken. She'll be in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. And besides, I won't give her the chance. I felt no pity, only that she had gotten what she deserved. After she and I divorced, she could have had a perfectly good life with Sean, but she was greedy, and in the end, she lost everything: her company, her future, and herself. After a moment of thought, I found the bank card mister Lynn had given me and handed it to Ava. This is the money mister Lynn left for me before he died. I was never sure what to do with it. Could he use it to set up monthly payments for Khloe? For her living expenses? Ava nodded. Okay. I never paid any more attention to Khloe. She had once faked bankruptcy to get rid of me. Now she was actually bankrupt. I wondered if she could finally understand how I had felt back then. But it didn't matter anymore. She was just a closed chapter in my life, one that would have no bearing on my future. I was going to move forward with the woman I loved and build a good life. Khloe Lynn's prospective Leo Vance has been in my life for as long as I can remember. As a little boy, he was adorable, the kind of kid everyone loved. I loved him too. My mom used to tell me that our families had an understanding that Leo and I were meant to be married when we grew up. When I asked her what marry meant, she said it was when two people stay together forever. In elementary school, we met a new friend, Ava Zhao. The three of us were inseparable. We walked to school together, shared our lunches, and became known as the Three Musketeers. I wanted it to be like that forever, but in middle school, I realized that Ava was in love with Leo. A strange panic seized me. Ava was friendlier than I was, just as pretty, and Leo had told me more than once that Ava was so much nicer than me. I never cared before, but if he started to like her back, what would happen to me? I started being more flirtatious with him, testing the waters. When I saw him blush, I knew he liked me, and I could finally breathe again. The next step was to drive a wedge between us and Ava. When I forced him to choose, Leo, of course, chose me. Our trio became a duo again. I didn't feel bad about it. He was mine again. After high school, my SAT scores weren't good enough, so I couldn't go to the same university as him. The day I left, I hugged him at the airport and fiercely warned him not to fall for any other girls. He kept his promise. I didn't. In college, I met Sean Chen. He was from a poor family, but he was tough and resilient. He was the complete opposite of Leo. Leo was like a flower raised in a greenhouse, while Sean was a wildflower clinging to the side of a cliff, stubbornly taking root and blooming against all odds. He was both heartbreaking and admirable. When I realized I had feelings for Sean, I tried to fight it, but I failed. I fell for him hard. I didn't know how to tell Leo, but he was so perceptive, he figured it out on his own. He slowly started to pull away, keeping his distance. At first, I felt guilty, but the thrill of being with Sean quickly overshadowed everything else. During that time, I completely forgot about Leo. If Sean and I hadn't had that huge fight before graduation, I think I probably would have married him. Back then, Sean didn't know my family was wealthy. I wanted him to move back to New York with me, but he was determined to take a job in Chicago. We fought, and in a fit of anger, he broke up with me and secretly bought a ticket to Chicago. I was furious, but I wanted to save our relationship. I bought a ticket to follow him. Just before I boarded the train, I got a call from my grandfather. Leo's parents had been in a car crash. Both were dead. I changed my ticket and went back to New York. Leo was a wreck. I couldn't leave him to go find Sean. By the time Leo was back on his feet, I saw a post on Sean's Instagram story. He was sitting across from a beautiful woman. In the comments, his roommate asked if he had a new girlfriend, and he casually confirmed it. I found out later it was a lie. He had posted it because I hadn't come after him, and his pride wouldn't let him call me. He was hoping I'd see it, confront him, and he could tell me he was just trying to make me jealous. But that's how fate works. I never asked. We missed our chance. I was depressed for a while, drinking too much. Leo always came to pick me up. The truth is that first night we slept together, I knew it was him. I just couldn't accept that my feelings for Sean were gone, so I lied and said I thought he was someone else. Later, when my grandfather used that night to force us to get married, I was resentful. But I figured, since things with Sean were over, marrying Leo wasn't the worst thing. At least it would make him happy. The moment I put the ring on his finger, his eyes turned red. I think, in that moment, he was truly happy. Our married life was peaceful. Sometimes, I would plan little surprises for him, and seeing the joy on his face made me think that maybe this life wasn't so bad after all. Until Sean came back. He told me he'd never been with anyone else, that he had been waiting for me. But I never came, so he came to find me. I was touched that he had quit his high-paying job in Chicago to come back for me. I didn't hide the fact that I was married to Leo. He was heartbroken at first and was about to leave again. As I was seeing him off at the airport at the last second, I couldn't stop myself. I hugged him and begged him not to go. He stayed, but I didn't know how to ask Leo for a divorce. I didn't want to hurt him, but I couldn't betray Sean either. After thinking about it for a long time, I came up with a plan to fake bankruptcy so that Leo would be the one to leave me. That way, I wouldn't have to feel guilty. But to my surprise, Leo stayed with me through 3 months of hell. Seeing him come home exhausted every night, so tired he would fall asleep in the shower, I felt both moved and heartbroken. So many times I wanted to tell him the truth, but the words would get stuck in my throat. I knew I had made a mistake, but I didn't know how to fix it, so I just kept going deeper into the lie. Then suddenly Leo found out, and just as I had planned, he asked for a divorce. But I felt no joy at all. After the divorce, I tried to stop thinking about him. But every moment I spent with Sean, Leo's smiling face would appear in my mind. I thought I was going crazy. Then he got together with Ava Zhao, and I completely lost it. How could he love someone else? How could he be with anyone else? I tried desperately to tear him away from her. But when he looked at me, there was no love left in his eyes. Only disgust. I thought if I could just get him back, I could make him fall in love with me again. After all, we grew up together. We were the most important people in each other's lives. I started attacking Zhao Corp with a maniacal fervor. My board of directors tried to stop me, but I wouldn't listen. In the end, I bankrupted my own company, and men sent by a rival company broke my legs. I would spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair, having lost my pride and the man I loved most. Ava came to see me once after that. She handed me a bank card and told me it was what my grandfather had left for him. He hadn't used it. He sent it to me when I had nothing left. He was always so kind. It was me who never deserved him. Now, all I can do is wish him a lifetime of happiness, peace, and love, even if none of it has anything to do with me.